Hello everyone, happy Boxing Day. If you guys didn't watch the team selection video, Merry Christmas because I wished everyone in that team selection video. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a good festive period. Hope you guys had a good time with your families. And yeah, festive period also means lots of games, lots of football games. So always a great time for FPL. Um, Game week 18, let me just quickly run through the points for game week 18. 46 points for my team. Um, Not good, not bad. I'll take it. It's pretty much a gray arrow for me, right? So I am at 368k in the world right now, hoping to break into the top 100k soon enough. So this is where we are at. Really nothing much to speak about for game week 18 aside from the fact that Cole Palmer got suspended. So I'm forced into making a transfer which I already have done. Right, so I'll show you guys the team currently, which is Dubravka, Konza, Livramento, Porro, Trent. Now obviously Trent is the new addition. If you've been following my team, Trent is the new addition. Followed by Saka, Son, Salah captain for now. And then Watkins, Solanke, and Darwin Núñez. So this is the team for now. I'll talk through a little bit about my thinking behind the transfer. I did Gehi to Trent. I'll talk a bit about that after saying hi to some of you guys in the chat. There's so many of you guys already. I'm glad to see that you guys are up bright and early for the game week 19 deadline. Right. Sam, thank you for coming early. Kath Dan as well. Martin, B-Ball, Checkmate. Laura, Riley, Jack, Ricky's in the chat as well, member. Will, Gary as well. Right, thank you all of you guys for coming down early. And let's get cracking, right? Let's just get cracking. I think there's quite a number of questions to cover in this Game Week 19 deadline stream. The early kickoff is Newcastle versus Nottingham Forest. So before anyone asks, I think it's not certain that we'll get leaks for Newcastle because Newcastle, we don't really get very reliable leaks. Unlike clubs like Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, there's not really a super reliable leak for Newcastle. So I doubt we will get anything concrete. But at least I'll try to see how I can help you guys with regards to the Newcastle assets. I have Livramento. I'm starting Livramento. I think Livramento will start. I also think Darwin Núñez will start. So I'm starting both of them. And just to cover Trent a little bit, I wasn't super convinced on bringing him in. But after looking at the potential fixtures moving forward, it seems as if we may not need to go for basically when we remove Salah in game week 20 or 21, whenever you remove him, it does not seem like you need to bring him back that soon. And it could be all the way until you next wildcard. So I think for me, currently, I'll talk through that a bit as well later on, referencing a tweet from Ben Krellin. But basically, I feel like if that's the case, then I will have a lot of funds and I can afford Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think going for him would not be that much of a detriment than initially I thought it would be, right? Because he's obviously 8 million. So that's a lot of money. But I think moving forward, money probably wouldn't be an issue. So we'll see. I'll show you guys the tweet in a bit. We'll discuss strategy and stuff soon. But let's just get to some of your questions before I fall behind all the questions. Alright, so Captain Trent this week, spice it up a little bit. I think he'll be the top scorer this week. Fair enough, fair enough. In fact, I actually think maybe there's a small chance. It's not going to put me off captaining Salah, but I think there's a small chance that Salah could come off early. I think he definitely starts, but I think there's a good chance he comes off early because Newcastle in game week 20 for Liverpool. So that's not easy by any means. P-Ball says, I was also dreaming of Trent captain. Kath then says Ariella or Turner, Dominic Calvert-Lewin or Archer this week. For Areola or Turner, both of them pretty much aren't going to keep a clean sheet. So we're going for safe points here. I probably would go for Areola. Because honestly, we don't really know if Turner's going to start as well. Maybe it doesn't make a difference, whoever you choose. Dominic Calvert-Lewin or Archer. I think I prefer Archer actually. Right, he plays Luton at Bramall Lane. Luton at home are very good, but away from home not as good. So I think I'll back Archer there. Anyone starting Haaland? I don't think. I think if I had Haaland, I probably start him and hope that he plays. It's probably a case of him starting if he's fit and being benched if he isn't. He probably won't come on for a cameo. And on the topic of Haaland as well, since we don't really have much concrete news and we're not going to hear from Pep before the deadline, if you don't have Haaland, I don't think there's a need to rush to bring him in right now. You have one more week to assess, and we'll probably hear from Pep before the Gameweek 20 deadline. So we'll definitely hear from him before the Man City game. So I assume he will be asked about Haaland if Haaland is missing from the lineup. So we will get more information. I don't think there's a need to rush for Haaland now. Jack says, hello, hope you had a good Christmas. Would you get Trent if it means you need a hit to get Haaland in 20? Merry Christmas to you, Jack. I think even if it's for a hit, I think it will be worth it. Yeah. As in, even if it means you need to take a hit later on, I think it's worth it. Ricky says, Merry Christmas, Leon and all. Let's hope for many returns in Gameweek 19 and onwards. Merry Christmas to you, Ricky. Will says, Happy Boxing Day. Any defenders other than Trent, Porro or Trips you would play ahead of Bowen this game week? I think I would start the Arsenal defenders ahead of Bowen, probably. Trent, Porro, Trippier. Yeah, I would start all three of them ahead of Bowen. I think arguably I would start Gabriel ahead of Bowen as well. But if not, I think then you can start Bowen already. Vignesh says, hi mate, play double Arsenal defender or Adingra to bench Palmer. Alright, so the thing with Adingra is that because... Let me show you guys a tweet. But basically the thing with Adingra is that most of the... Let me just shout out this account on Twitter because I think it's a really good account. It's FPL Instinctive and he does Brighton predictions. So let me pull up the Brighton lineup. So because Mitoma is obviously injured, he's even a doubt for the Asian Cup, I think. But basically there's not a lot of wingers left for Brighton. So because of that, I think based on these predictions by FPL Instinctive as well, Adingra has a 95% chance to start. I think it's pretty much guaranteed he'll start. Unlike the previous game where he started and then came off at halftime, I don't think they have the liberty or the luxury to do that anymore because Mitoma is out. So I honestly think this is what we're going to see. Adingra on the left and Buonanotte on the right. Right, so in that sense, you're probably going to get a full 90 minutes from Adingra. In fact, he has pretty much played the full 90 minutes every other game before the game that he came off last week. Before the Crystal Palace game, he pretty much started every other game. So I think he's fine to start this week, not the worst. But whether you play him instead of double Arsenal defense, I'll probably lean to starting Adingra, to be fair. I think Brighton score against Spurs. I have Porro, but I think Brighton score against Spurs. Gary says, Happy 2023rd birthday, Jesus. Merry Christmas to the rest of you normal. That is hilarious. Merry Christmas to you, Gary. Carl says, if I go Simicast to Trent it means more transfers to get Haaland back later. Also, will Poole be good without Salah? Am I mad to prefer a City defender instead? Who best is it? Walker? What about Stones? I think Stones is not as nailed as Walker. So if you're going for a City defender, which I don't mind, it would be Walker. Yeah, it would be Walker. I don't mind it. I just think the upside is greater for someone like Trent. Any news on Lascelles? Not at the moment, and I don't think we would hear anything concrete before as well. So I think I think you take it as if he's gonna miss out because he came off at the 34th minute, I think 30 something. The last game, and Botman came on for him. All right. Before I forget, thank you everyone for the support on the Christmas charity drive. Let me just... Right, so thank you everyone for the support that you guys have shown for the Christmas charity drive. I just wanted to say that the donation has been made, and I posted this on the community tab yesterday. So we have raised £120 for UNICEF. Right, so I made the donation in Sing dollars, and yeah, it's on the community tab. So thank you everyone for the support, and yeah, have a blessed time with your families, etc. I hope you guys had a great Christmas as well. Right, so doing something good for the community. Thank you for all the support so far. Right, so we probably will do it again next year. Every year I try to do the Christmas charity drive. So if you guys have recommendations on who to donate to next year, I'm sure it'll come up closer to the time. But if you guys have recommendations on charities that we can donate to, just drop it in the chat. I'll read the chat again after the stream. But yeah, always looking out for charities that we can donate to. So thank you very much for all the support. And yeah, let's get back to your questions. FPL Down Under says, hello FPL Consult from Melbourne. Well, nice to see the international audience as well. Thank you for tuning in, FPL Down Under. Make Trent captain with me, bro. Make it an interesting week. We will overtake many Salah and Son captainers. I gotta say, it is tempting. It is tempting. But I just can't find it in me for now. Maybe closer to the deadline. For now, I can't find it in me to switch the armband. I have to agree that he's a good captaincy shot. What is your thought on putting the captain's armband on Trent or Solanke? I really don't mind it at all. I think we should do a captaincy poll. How about that? I think we do a captaincy poll. Lots of questions surrounding captaincy. Right, let me just put up a captaincy poll and see what you guys are doing. So, who do you guys want to see in the poll? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Who do you want to see in the captaincy poll? I'll put the ones that you guys have already shown an interest for. Gameweek19 captaincy poll. I'll go with Salah first. Let's go Trent after that. I think Trent has quite a fan base. Solanke. Anyone captaining Son? No one captaining Son? Alright, let's put it. Oh, there's Watkins as well. Son, Watkins, Solanke, Trent, Watkins, Son, Salah. Alright. Let's put Solanke and Watkins together. How about that? Or should we put Son and Watkins together? There's only 4 options though. Salah has to be one. Trent has to be the other one. I think Solanke / Watkins. Alright. There we go. Let me know who you guys are captaining. I would imagine Salah would still be the outright captain, outright standout captain, but this is definitely a week that you can go different. This is definitely a week that you can go different. Yeah, already the captaincy poll is quite split. Right, let me see if I missed out any questions. Right, we're going all the way back now. I'm super slow with the chat nowadays. I have to be faster, I think. Do you think Konza can keep a clean sheet against Manchester United? I think so. I'm starting him. I hope he does. I think there's every chance. Manchester United haven't scored in 4 games. If Haaland is fit in 20, is selling Archer to Haaland worth a -4 hit and get 8 attackers in, or should we just sell our second forward for free? I think up front, if you have Watkins and Solanke, I see no reason that you'll be removing any of them. So really, it just makes sense, I guess, to sell Archer for Haaland. Boyan says, only for this game week, who would you pick? Who would you pick? I think if I was going for a 1 week punt, if I had a wild card in game week 20 and I was going for a 1 week punt, my favorite one, if you don't already have, would actually be Alvarez or Foden, either one of them. I don't think a lot of people can get to them, and I do think that they will score quite well as well. Sell Isak or play Pinnock? Probably sell Isak. I don't mind selling Isak this week. I don't think he gets the full 90 minutes as well, so I really don't mind selling him. SJ says, hi, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Same to you as well, my man. Gary says, I consider City a trap. The way they're defending, I don't blame you. Is Haaland back? No one knows yet. Not gonna lie, this Brighton team looks dodgy defensively. Yes, they do. They do. Walker used to have decent attacking returns in past seasons. Why are they practically non-existent this season? I think towards the start of this season we did see a couple of assists for Walker, but I think it's dropped off. It's dropped off, and I'm not sure if it's because of the way the forwards are kind of the way that they are stacked up in normal open play. Like usually there will be an attacker that's very, very wide, and then that kind of blocks Kyle Walker from going up, right? Whether it's Foden on the right or Bernardo on the right, usually that attacker needs to come into the field, needs to go closer to the penalty box so that Walker can push up. But I think of late, I've kind of seen that less. I've kind of seen Bernardo or Foden holding width a little bit more. Right, the captaincy poll is 62%, 63% Salah. So I guess we have an outright standout captaincy option already, but there is a decent chunk of you guys going differential, and Trent is the one that you guys feel is the best differential. It's 7% for Son, 7% for Solanke or Watkins. I might chicken out and take the captain armband off Solanke for Salah. Starting Archer or Konza? Archer or Konza, I'll go Archer. I think I'll go Archer, yeah. And he says, you really think Adingra has less potential than Konza? If it's between... So just now the question was for Adingra versus starting Gabriel. I think I would start... Because it was a question of whether you would double up on the Arsenal defense. So Saliba plus Gabriel. and then give up Adingra, basically bench Adingra? Or would you start Adingra ahead of, let's say, Gabriel? I think in that case, I generally like to spread the risk. So I go one Arsenal defender and then start Adingra. For Anis, Adingra versus Konza. I mean, that is a fair question. I feel at this point I'm kind of leaning towards starting Konza still. That is a fair point. I mean, I did think about it, but I'm just not super comfortable starting Adingra. I'm just not 100% on it. That's currently where I'm at least. Who should I start, Colwell or Gabriel? Colwell. I will start Colwell this week against Crystal Palace. Would you bring in Alvarez for Archer? It'll change my team structure. It depends. If you have a wild card, then probably yes. If you have a wild card, then I probably would go for Alvarez. If you don't, I don't think I'll be transferring in Alvarez now because once Haaland is back, Alvarez is gonna be an issue. Which two to start out of Botman, Shah, and Porro? I would probably go Porro and... I mean, the way I saw Fabian Shah limping towards the end of the game, I'm not sure he starts. I definitely start Porro, and then between Botman and Shah, I think probably Botman. I think he's the one that managed to come out of the game alright. But there's also a chance that he's benched. The Newcastle defense right now is super hard to call. I do expect some rotation for the Nottingham Forest game because they have Liverpool next, and they've also just played Luton over the weekend. So I think it's super tough to call that one. For Botman and Shah, I think whichever one you go for, pretty much a toss-up. Saint Ledger says, hi Leon, Merry Christmas, Happy Christmas, 2 free transfers, can't think of anything to do. Is Powell to Gabriel or Botman 2 sideways? Have Gusto for cover. I don't mind starting Gusto this week against Crystal Palace. But he just had a stinker against who did Chelsea play again? He just had a stinker against Wolves. Yeah, that's right. Horrible game. I've already removed it from my memory as a Chelsea fan. Evening, K7. Steve-O, good morning to you. Are you using any FPL browser extension? Nope. I just use the FPL website. Tom says I'm going Trent. Fair enough. Another 24% of people who have voted are going for Trent as well. What about Wilson if he starts? I mean, the thing with Wilson is always just the rotation with Isak. If only either one of them was more nailed than the other. Like if, let's say, it was a case of Isak, or let's say Wilson. Let's say it's a case of Wilson starting week in, week out, right? Regardless of whether Isak is fit or not. Then I'm pretty much gonna assume that everyone would have Wilson, kind of think of Wilson as if he's a Watkins, like a just hold all the way, and you know just remove him when he's an issue. But honestly, unfortunately, because of the rotation with Isak and Wilson, they will never be FPL options, unless one is out, right? Which is what has happened of late until Isak just came back. Can Trent get a clean sheet this week? I think absolutely. I think the highest upside transfer in this week is Trent, which was what tempted me to do it. I was close to doing Adingra to Richarlison or Adingra to Bowen instead of this Trent move, but I settled on the Trent move in the end. I think it is the one that has the highest upside, plus I think moving forward we would want Trent in our teams. Right? As I mentioned, I don't think we would need a lot of funds moving forward, because Salah is not a super necessary pick even back after AFCON. I'll talk about it in a tweet later. But basically, the future double game weeks and blank game weeks kind of permit us to go without Salah for a decent chunk of time until we wildcard. I don't have Richarlison, Kulusevski, or Gordon. I don't know which one to buy. It has to be Richarlison among those. Tom says, always play the attacking players over defenders. Fair point, fair point. I mean, I'm close to doing it. But Brighton's attack just not super convincing. I mean, I don't mind doing it. I don't mind starting a Adingra over Konza. It's just, I'm not 100% on it yet. So for now, Adingra's still on the bench. Hi Pranav, nice to see you. Ryan says, hey bro, do you think Gomez would start? I think Gomez would start now that Tsimikas is injured. In which defense do you trust the most to get a clean sheet for this week? Probably Liverpool, if I'm honest. Let's check the clean sheet odds. Pull up the odds. Right, so for clean sheet odds, the one that has the highest is actually Newcastle, 48. Arsenal is also at 48. 45% for Chelsea. Right, for City and Liverpool, they're both at 40%. So I guess odds-wise, they favour Newcastle at home. Right, at home, they are much better defense than they are away from home. Arsenal against West Ham, I don't agree with this one too much. I think West Ham have quite a decent threat as well. But yeah, that's for odds. I think if I were to back one team, I would still say Liverpool. I think Spurs attacking will be useless after game week 21 when Son is gone. But when Son is gone, Maddison is back. Maddison should be back. I shouldn't say Maddison is back. Maddison should be back. Let me just give you guys an update on Maddison based on a tweet that I saw from Paul O'Keefe. So Maddison is set to return from Dubai and join up with his teammates at Hotspur Way whilst he continues to build up his fitness. He could join up from tomorrow, and this is on the 21st of December, right? So before Christmas. So I think there's a good chance we see Maddison back sooner rather than later. So I don't think the Spurs attack is going to struggle too much. Start Senesi or Livramento. Senesi or Livramento? Probably Senesi. What are your plans for Game Week 21? Salah and Son out in the same game week. So for future transfers, right, let me just pull up the transfer planner. It's probably not going to be both of them out at the same time. So for future transfers, right, this is my Gameweek19 team. Currently have Palmer on the bench. I did Gehi to Trent. And I have Adingra on the bench. I could, as you guys have suggested, go Adingra instead of Konza. I'll think about it for a while. But come Game Week 20, I think what I'd probably do, assuming Haaland is back, right? I mean, obviously this depends on whether Haaland is back. If Haaland is back, Palmer comes in for sure, right? But if Haaland is back, I think the moves that I would do is Darwin out for Haaland and Salah out for Jared Bowen. So I think this is a move that I do like. And then come Game Week 21, when Son goes to the Asian Cup, then I'll probably do Richarlison in here. So at least for now, this is the plan. So you do see that I probably will have to take a hit in Game Week 20. So it's 2 transfers. It's going to cost me a -4 to bring Haaland back. So assuming he's not fit in Game Week 20, that he doesn't play in Game Week 20. Let me just bring us back to Game Week 20. So in Game Week 20, this is going to be my team. And assuming Haaland is not back, I think what I can do is possibly roll the transfer. Go with something like this. I have to decide whether I bench Darwin or Adingra. But if Haaland is not back, I can roll the transfer, come to 21, and then bring Haaland in if he's fit. Right, so still in the air right now, nothing concrete as of yet. But I have a rough idea of what I plan to do in Game Week 20 at least, based off of what we hear about Haaland. Right, there's about 167 of you guys already. Happy Boxing Day to all of you guys if you've just joined the stream. Thank you for spending your Boxing Day morning with me. Let me just check on a couple of tweets. I don't think we would get anything concrete with regards to Newcastle leaks this early, but no harm checking. Yeah. So along the way, as I get more information, I'll share it with you guys. For now, there's nothing in Newcastle for those of you thinking about leaks. Porro, Zinchenko, or Gordon start one. I'll probably start Gordon. What site do you use for clean sheet odds? I used drafthound.com. Right, Drafthound. Start 2, Konza, Huang. Who's the last one? Not sure who's the last one. Raghav. Russell says, is Trent essential despite not having enough funds with Haaland in the team and requiring you to take a -4? If you already have Haaland in your team and you'll be taking a -4 to bring Trent in, my worry would be where else you're going to get the funds though. Are you compromising in defense or in midfield or in the forward positions? Because majority of the people going for Trent right now, the money is coming from Haaland. So if you have Haaland in your team already, and you're going to take a -4 to bring Trent in, I guess it could be worth it, but you really have to watch the structure of your other players as well. Can't compromise too much there. Do you think Richarlison can cover Son for the next 2 game weeks? Great question. So this question is probably from someone that is thinking about whether you want to go for either of Son or Richarlison now, right? Whether it's you don't have either of them now, or if you have Richarlison and you're thinking whether you want to buy Son. I think now it's probably too late to go for Son. I think now if I was buying a Spurs attacker, it would have to be Richarlison. Are you rolling next week for the double transfer in game week 21, Salah and Son? Right. So as I've shared just now, it really depends on Erling Haaland. It really depends on him. Kath then says, ask 4 questions, none got answered. Let me just go back to your questions. Sorry I missed it. Foden, Bowen, Saka, Odegaard, name in order to bring in. Alright. So I don't think I would be rushing to get Saka now or Odegaard. I think it would either be, I think out of those 4, Bowen followed by Foden and then Saka then Odegaard in that order. Sorry for missing your question, Kath Den. Apologies for that. How big is the chance that Haaland will play? I mean, we don't really know, honestly, at this point. Oh, Austin Trusty. Okay. So, let me go back to that question. My gosh. So, Konza, Huang Hee-chan, or Trusty? Alright, has to be Konza and Huang. Has to be Konza and Huang. My gosh. Right. I have zero clue to do this. That's me almost every week. Isn't that all of us almost every other week? Most of our transfers have surrounded, or at least have been driven by injuries. So honestly speaking, it's kind of rare that there be a week that our transfers are not driven by injuries. A lot of, at least for my team at least, the past 2 to 3 transfers have all been driven by injuries, suspensions, etc. Gabriel or Zinchenko? I'll go for Gabriel. I'll start Gabriel. How high or low is the XGC for Burnley? So tempted to cap trend. Well, Burnley are definitely not a super good attack. Let me just check the stats for Burnley. Across 18 game weeks. Right, let me show this to you guys. Across 18 game weeks, let's look at where Burnley is. It's a little bit small. So across 18 game weeks, Burnley is pretty much Luton, Burnley, and Sheffield are all at the bottom, and Burnley is second last. So I think for those of you guys thinking about captaining Trent, I don't mind it at all. I need to find it in me to make the move. Ramadian says, if Tsimikas, Edouard, and Palmer shall roll the transfer this week, meaning play Pau Torres, or add Trent now and a -4 next week. I'd probably deal with Tsimikas now, honestly. Palmer you can keep. He's not a sell by any means. I'd probably deal with Tsimikas now. You can't play Pau Torres. I think there's no guarantee he'll start. So I'll probably make a transfer there. In Game Week 21, after selling Son and Salah, should we spread the funds out to get Trent or keep it in the bank to bring Salah and Son back? So this is a good question. Let me show you guys a tweet from Ben Krellin, who does awesome work. Awesome work. So he put out a tweet basically based off of what he predicts is going to happen in the future. So his opinion is that, firstly, based on his own team, that if he could afford to get Trent instead of Tsimikas, he'd get him. He wouldn't worry about having to use up funds that you'd need to bring Salah back in later on. Right, and the logic for that is that Liverpool and Man City both double in 25. Then you can make an argument for free hitting in 25, fading Salah until a 31 wild card, given that he blank in 26 and maybe blank in 29 as well. So basically what he's saying is, it's possible that Salah blanks in 26 and 29, possible that he also doubles in 25. So you probably could, if you are able to save your wild card until game week 31, you could consider fading Salah. So the idea is pretty, I guess it's not one that we immediately thought about, and it's something that I'm open to as well, but I just haven't confirmed as of now whether I do want to go with this. I mean, this is based off of what Ben Crellin is saying. I'm not 100%. I mean, I could still want Salah for that period, but the logic behind that does make sense. So if you look at the fixtures from the moment that Salah comes back. So Salah comes back in game week 25. Let's say he misses 21 to 24, which is when the African Cup of Nations is going to be. From 25, there's a potential that he doubles here. If he doubles here, the logic for what Ben is saying is you free hit in 25. I also haven't confirmed if I want to do that, but you free hit in 25. And then 26 he blanks, so this is the Luton fixture. 29 he also blanks. 28 there's Man City away, Man City at home, right? So the only one that you really miss out on is Nottingham Forest away. So it really depends, of course. By then we should know a little bit more information about whether the blanks or the doubles are happening, and if that happens, then obviously it's going to dictate what we do, right? So just something that I thought would be important for us to consider now that we are in game week 19 at least. Penguin says, hi mate, thanks for the content. Listening all the way from Colombia. 3:21 a.m. Wow. Thank you for tuning in. Just for this game week, do you think Foden is a better pick than Richarlison? Nah. Nope. Play Konza, Gabriel and Porro and roll, or buy Trent or Zinchenko? Play Konza, Gabriel and Porro and roll. I think 2 free transfers would be great for 20. I'm just not super confident of playing both Adingra and Konza together. That's why I went for Gehi to Trent. Sell 1 in game week 20. Watkins, Solanke, Alvarez. If Haaland is back, Alvarez. Trippier is a differential captain considering early kickoffs in James's Park and 48% chance, as you said. You could, but the way that he's playing just doesn't give me a lot of confidence. But you could. As we all know, you don't really have to be playing well in real life to score well in FPL. And says, Mikalenko, Shaw, Gusto, Pinnock, rank in order to start. I mean, I definitely wouldn't start Mikalenko if he's playing against Man City. I think I put him last. Pinnock is alright. I'd probably go Gusto, Pinnock, Shaw, and then Mikalenko. Probably do that. Would Chris says, morning Andy, would you... I'm not Andy. Andy streams in an hour's time, I think so. This is hilarious. Would you play double? Right, so back to your question then. Would you play double Arsenal defense or play Colwell Porro as a third defender? Uh, I would play Colwell Porro and one Arsenal defender. I wouldn't play double. Yeah. That's the first. That's the first. I've never had someone confuse me with Andy. Bench one, Porro, Colwell, or Archer. If I had Archer against Luton at home, would he start him ahead of Porro? Nah, probably not. I'll probably start Colwell and Porro. I am captaining Trent, but I'm worried that Simicast's injury will affect his attacking potential since Gomez is stuck replacing Simicast. Not sure Trent will be utilised as a straight-up midfielder. So from a tactical perspective, that does make sense. But, I mean, Trent has many ways of getting attacking returns. I wouldn't subject him to just positional, like just him playing the midfield that would dictate him doing well. The set pieces. And then even if he's playing as a normal right back, like a standard right back, he still can get attacking returns there. So I wouldn't worry too much about his attacking output now that Gomez is replacing Simicast. Do you think Gordon starts? I want to roll this week, but I only have one playing player on the bench. I thought of doing Lascelles out and Botman in, but prefer to roll. Your thoughts, please. I think that there is a chance that Gordon could be rested. I'm not going to rule that out. I think there is a chance for sure. Best Simicast replacement under 5 million. Can you name me 3? Under 5 million. I think I would still go for Levi Colwell. Despite what everyone is saying about the Chelsea defense, I would still go for Colwell. Would I go for a City defender? I mean, I know Variol is at 5 mil. Would I go for him? Could be considered. And then the Aston Villa defense is also one that I go for. I mean, you may not buy them now, but their fixtures are really good. There's Burnley next week. There's Everton away. Sure, there's Newcastle in 22, but after that is Sheffield, United, Fulham, Forest, Luton. Is pretty much really good for the Aston Villa defense. So I don't mind buying them now as well. And who knows, against United, they may keep a clean sheet. The way United are playing. Sounds like a good plan. Wait, missed the chat again. Yeah, sounds like a good strat if blanks and doubles go ahead. Yeah, I mean, that could work. That could work. I just haven't nailed... You're talking about Ben's strategy. It could work. I just haven't confirmed if I want to do that yet. I mean, I'm keeping it open, but it's good to have it at the back of your mind. Is there a high chance Haaland is back next week? Haven't been keeping up. So, we don't really know. So, we would definitely hear from Pep after the Gameweek 19 deadline at least once, right? And that should give us enough information, I hope, on whether he'll be back for Gameweek 20. So as of now, nobody knows for sure. Salah will be back in Gameweek 23 if Egypt is eliminated fast. Odds are saying that. Well, if he's back in 23, I feel like the earliest he'd be back, I mean, obviously dependent on how Egypt actually play. But even if he's back in 23, I don't really think we need him for Arsenal away. So if he's back in 24, maybe we could move for him earlier and take the chance. I mean, we would also be thinking about the blanks and doubles after that as well. I mean, it's hard to say now when you'd bring him back. Right, when the blanks and doubles are announced, we probably would have more information. Best Lascelles replacement. Um, I don't mind Levi Colwell. I don't mind an Aston Villa defender as well. What do you think about Gusto as a replacement for Cash? And what about captaining Wilson? Captaining Wilson, I'm not so sure about that. That's a bit risky. But Gusto as a replacement for Cash, I just have this fear that Disasi would come in for some games when they prefer to have a more solid defense. Gusto is definitely not one of the most solid right backs out there. He's more of an attacking fullback. So if Pochettino opts for a more defensive lineup, I think we could see Disasi come in. Start or bench Lascelles. I think that's pretty much. I don't think he would start, so I would probably bench him. Would you start Cameron Archer over Gabriel or Porro this week? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't do that. Play Livramento and roll transfer. Play Livramento and roll or transfer Gabriel in. I'll play Livramento and roll. I'm starting Livramento as well. Is Saka better or Odegaard as an FPL option right now to bring in? If I would be tempted to go for Odegaard, I'm not gonna lie. I would be tempted to go for Odegaard now ahead of Saka. His numbers are really bad. Pronounce this. What's up with your teammates? Sterling, Braya, Jackson against Wolves. I hope so too, man. I hope so too. Well, Tom says it's because the stream pictures color theme is similar with many streamers. I see. It's just pretty much a dark background then. Casual Brighton fan says, are you Singaporean? Yes, I am Singaporean. I'm also a citizen of the internet, Gary. That is right. Play Livramento and yeah, I've answered that one. Chris just woke up. Who to get? Botman. Who to get? Bowen or Gross or Richarlison? If I was buying one this week, I would buy Richarlison. It's up to Klopp if he wants Trent to play attacking or defensive, but Klopp played him as an inverted winger after Simika's injury. It's completely unpredictable. Rafal says Saliba, Bowen, Archer start 2. I would start Saliba for sure. So it's between Bowen and Archer. I mean, I wouldn't be comfortable benching Bowen, so I would start Bowen. Do you think with Salah going to AFCON, will that make Trent a worse or a better asset? I mean, I don't think Trent's returns are heavily reliant on Salah. I mean, in the attacking positions, of course, Salah linking up the play is crucial. So I feel like it's more a question of whether Liverpool's attack will be affected by Salah's absence. I think definitely yes, but I also don't doubt that Trent could still perform in that period. Gary says Bone and Archer in reply to Rafal's question. I mean, I do understand that, but I also see Saliba possibly keeping a clean sheet. So the way that I would do it is probably start Saliba and Bowen, and then kind of cover my bases there. If West Ham get a return, it's probably Bowen. If West Ham don't get a return and they don't score, Saliba gets the clean sheet. Can you make a wildcard 20 draft? Yep, I will be doing that. Not a lot of time to do that though, so I probably have to record that before the Gameweek 19 games, sometime later tonight. Gordon to Eze good. I don't like Crystal Palace's fixtures now, so I wouldn't do that. When is the last game week to play the first wild card? Gameweek 19 or Gameweek 20? The last game week to play it is Gameweek 20. So you still have one more week to use it. In fact, right. So this is a good time. Actually, I pinned the chat. I pinned a comment. I'm not sure. I pinned what I I pinned something that I posted in the chat. It's basically a Gameweek 19 newsletter, so I'm trying something new. I'm not sure if you guys would like it or not, but I'm just giving it a shot. Let's see how it works out. So let me just show it to you guys. It's basically a Gameweek 19 newsletter. It's completely free. All you have to do is click the link, whether it's in the description or in the pinned chat down there. And basically, I answer a couple of questions, like just previewing Gameweek 19 and giving some tips and talking about my Gameweek 19 team as well. If you are down to check it out, it's completely free. You can check it out. And I did answer a couple of questions here with regards to the wild card as well. So I received a question on social media asking about wildcard. Should I play it now or in Game Week 20? So my answer to this was, if your team permits, I would delay the wildcard for one more week, right? And my reasons are as such, right? If you had a wildcard now, I don't think there is as much upside using it now as compared to in Game Week 20, because come Game Week 20, you're going to have more information. So that includes an update on Haaland. And then in terms of suspensions as well, we would know who are suspended for Game Week 20, and that's pretty much the last game week where suspensions would come in, because after Game Week 20, the threshold is increased to the threshold is increased to 10 basically. So honestly, if I had the wild card, I would be tempted to take a 1 week punt, someone like Alvarez or Foden, and then basically use the wild card in Game Week 20 instead. Alright, so just about some other things in the newsletter before we go back. I just have a couple of tips that I just wanted to share. So I posted this on Twitter as well, but I'll post it in the newsletter every week. So basically, I would keep Cole Palmer on your bench, don't sell him. Livramento and Darwin Núñez, I feel, will get a start in their respective games. Right, the best semi-glass replacement, in my opinion, is Trent if you don't own him yet. I think there are other options that you can go for if you already have Trent, right? Namely, maybe a Chelsea defender if you're comfortable with that. If not, there's an Aston Villa defender as well. Udogie can be considered over Porro if you're saving budget. So for this one, I was making a wildcard 19 draft, and I feel like if you are kind of saving money in defense, I don't mind going for Udogie at all. Right, I don't mind going for Udogie over Porro, because Udogie is almost equally as attacking as Porro. You would remember that he got the goal. You would remember that Udogie got the goal and Porro got the assist as well a couple of weeks back, right? And then for Saka, I understand everyone is concerned about his returns, but you give him a couple more weeks. And then Haaland is not a priority for Game Week 19, but have a plan for him next week, right? So this is pretty much, and then I talk about my team. Yeah, so I discuss the transfers that I've done, etc., and that's pretty much it. Right, so if you guys do want to check it out, the link is in the description or in the pinned chat as well. Drop a comment there if you have any thoughts. I'd be keen to know. Yeah, so I will be making a Game Week 20 wildcard draft. When is the last... Yeah, I've answered this. Play Livramento and roll the I would play Livramento. Have you done your transfers? Yes, I've done my transfers. I got one free transfer this week, and I did Gahey to Trent. I feel like Porro Trent should never be considered for bench if fit. Fair enough. Fair enough. Best Aston Villa defender is not Luka Dean. It is Ezri Konsa. How about captaining Solanke, as I think Salah would not play the full 90 minutes. I think that's a fair assumption. I also don't think Salah plays 90 minutes, but it's a question of whether you would take 60 minutes of Salah against Burnley as your captain. Should I transfer Disasi out, and if you recommend to, which one should replace him? Any cheaper options? I mean, I feel like with the Chelsea centre backs, I mean, Disasi has played right back for a bit, but there's Gusto now, and then for the centre backs, there's always rotation there. So I think you could transfer him out. Replacements cheaper than Disasi. I think if you're looking at that region, probably either of Konza, Colwell. I probably would go for that. Udogi is someone that I don't mind, but it depends whether you want to double up on Poro if you already have on Spurs defense if you already have Poro. The Spartan 93 says, "Am I from Singapore or Malaysia?" I'm from Singapore. I am from Singapore. I don't have Trippier yet, and I've realized how high his ownership is. Might move Tsimikas to him instead of someone like Colwell or Gusto. So my issue with Trippier, I mean, aside from his form, is the fixtures. I mean, you look at the fixtures, and I'm just thinking, is this a week that I would want to bring Trippier in? Last week, I guess it was arguable that you can bring Trippier in because there was Luton, but again, he didn't keep a clean sheet there. And then now there's Nottingham Forest in 19, but after that, it's Liverpool, Man City, and Aston Villa. All of those teams are capable of scoring against Newcastle, and 2 of those games are away. So away from home, I pretty much expect them to just concede. And then their home game is against Man City. So I honestly don't think that Trippier is going to explode during this period, and we could do more things with the funds. I mean, funds not an issue, but I think there's better moves that we can make than going for Trippier right now. Thoughts on Foden, good fixtures. The only thing with Foden, I would say, is whether he starts to get rotated. That's my concern. Because soon we're going to have KDB back. Very soon. Play Gabriel versus West Ham or Archer versus Luton. I'll play Gabriel versus West Ham. Kath then says, I think it's time to go for a triple Manchester United to get ahead of the curve. I don't think I would do that. I don't think I would do that. Should I do Tsimikas trend? We'll have to take a -8 next game week to change Trippier, Son, Watkins to Poro, Richarlison, and Haaland. I mean, I don't think you sell Watkins, and I don't think you sell Son next week as well. So, selling Trippier next week. I mean, if you have Trippier, I don't think you sell him. If you have Trippier, I think you just keep him for that run, because your transfers will be spent elsewhere. Right, your transfers will be spent trying to bring Haaland back, making transfers to get funds for Haaland, assuming that you want to bring him back. So it's a different question whether when you have Trippier now versus you don't have him. If you don't have him, I don't think you bring him in. If you have him, I think you keep him. Right. So regarding the -8 that you intend to take next game week, I don't think I would do it that way. But Tsimikas to trend in isolation, I think it's an alright move. A lot of you guys are telling me to start a Dingra. I mean, I do understand. Let me just make the swap and see how I feel about starting a Dingra ahead of Konza, of course. Let's see how we feel about this. Do you guys think this is the lineup I should go with? There's merit for it for sure, definitely. Can you rank the top 5 Arsenal or Newcastle defenders for this week only? I think Trippier is still up there for this week only. After that, I think all the Newcastle defenders go all the way down. I think after that, it's Arsenal defenders already. So Gabriel, Saliba. Yeah, it's pretty much. I don't think I would want to mention the other Arsenal or Newcastle defenders. Do you think Wilson starts? I'll transfer him out if unlikely. Hopefully we get some leaks. Let me just check but based off of what I think is gonna happen, my thoughts is that he played 90 minutes against Chelsea, and he also played quite long in the Luton game. So I honestly think this is a good time to rest Wilson and then start him for the Liverpool game in 20, which is coming in quick succession. So I don't expect Wilson to start. Albert says you like the newsletter. Thank you very much. I'll try to get the newsletter out every week. This is the kind of the first week that I'm starting the newsletter, so you won't see a lot of content there. But hopefully, when I'm consistent with it every single game week, hopefully it helps you guys as well. Just wanted to try something new, like a side project. So if you guys are interested in that one, you can check it out. And I'll appreciate any comments down there as well if you have feedback for me. Do you ever bench a premium defender like Trippier in hard fixtures in 20 and 21 or play Taylor? I think you just have to start Trippier in those fixtures and hope something happens. Thank you for all the feedback on the newsletter, Martin and Abot. I have 2 free transfers and planning to replace Ward-Prowse and Tarkowski. Which cheaper options should I choose? Defensive options, I'll go for Aston Villa defenders or Chelsea defenders. Ward-Prowse, if you're going cheaper, I think Ward-Prowse is at 6.5 if I'm not wrong. Cheap midfield. Can you afford Richarlison? I think Richarlison is at 6.7. If you can afford him, I'll go for him. Can Nottingham Forest beat Newcastle? With Newcastle playing at home, I don't think that would happen. I don't think so. Bowen or Foden long term? Definitely Bowen. Morning Andy. I don't even look like Andy. I'll probably tune into the stream later, but I look nothing like Andy. But huge respect for Andy though. I've been watching him for as long as I can remember. Saliba or Porro? I start both of them. Who else would you be benching, VJ? Play Gabriel versus West Ham or Archer versus Luton? I'd play Gabriel. Tsimikas or Zinchenko? I wouldn't do that. Foden for Gameweek 19 alone, I don't mind. After that, I don't really like it. Is Haaland available on Gameweek 19? I don't think he's a priority, but we're not going to hear from Pep before that. How to avoid benching headaches. So one of the ways that I've seen is that if you have teams where you're kind of stuck with 7 attackers, your 8th attacker is not someone that can play, or not someone that you're comfortable playing, you don't really have much headaches there, so I guess. But with the funds that are going to be so spread out after, now that we've all sold Haaland and we're going to spread the funds around, I think we're going to have more benching headaches, honestly. Thank you very much for the super chat. K, who to start out of Porro, Gabriel, Bowen, Archer? One defender at least should start. One defender at least should start. I mean, how many out of these 4 do you need? Yeah, how many out of these 4 do you need? So what? Maybe I just Porro first, and then I would have. It's pretty much. Any news on Haaland? Any chance of him being in the squad? So there's lots of talk about Haaland. I mean, I really haven't seen anything, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on. Yeah, there's basically really not much. I'll be honest. And I don't think we will hear much as well. So I think we just take it that Haaland's not gonna be back, because honestly I doubt he'll be back. At least that's the approach that I'm taking. 3 out of 4. I see. Let's think of a super chat again. 3 out of 4. I will go for Porro, Gabriel, and Bowen. I basically bench Archer. Yep. Hope that one helps. Let me get back to where did I leave off? Lots of questions. I'm not gonna be able to get to all of it, but thank you for all the interactions. Let me just get to City assets. So City defenders, I don't mind City defenders. If you're going for Walker, I don't mind, but the rest I don't think I would go for. For City assets, if you're going for punts, I don't mind, but I really don't think I'll be transferring players like Foden and Alvarez in this week if I didn't already have the wild card ready for 20. Is Saliba, Porro, Trippier overkill? I don't think so. Brian says play Archer versus Luton or Colwell versus Palace. Colwell versus Palace. What do I do with Huang? Should I play him? Who do Wolves have? I think you play him. Brentford's an alright fixture. Should I go for Nunes as a different captain shout? I mean, you look at the poll, 580 votes now. 69% of people are going for Salah. So you would definitely be going for a very, very big differential. But at this rate, I don't think people are going to be captaining Nunes. I do hope that it works out for you then, because if it does, it means that I get the Darwin Nunes returns as well. Thank you for the plug, VJ. Like, share, and subscribe. Gary's top 10 million. Hit for Richarlison / Foden worth it. Adingra data is very poor. I'd have to start him otherwise. I think a hit for Richarlison would just pay off over the long run, so I don't mind it. Ricky says, FOMO Trent, Alexander-Arnold. Should I replace Trippier to Trent? Initial plan is to save up 2 free transfers to bring Haaland back in 20. I don't think you should do Trippier to Trent. I think you keep Trippier and roll the transfer. Do you think Luis Diaz will play later? Possibly. But I think Darwin Nunes is probably one of the players that I'd say 80%, 90% to start. Sold Bowen when he's injured and lost so much value. Now if I bring him back, he's even more expensive. Well, unfortunately, sometimes FPL works like that. But the reason you took him out then is still valid. And the reason why you want to bring him in now is also still valid. Right? Sometimes these things do happen in FPL. Who should I play out of Huang, Saliba, and Porro? Have to play 2. If you have to play 2, then I'll choose Saliba and Porro. Best Simicast replacement for next week. This week I did Lascelles to Gusto, double up on Chelsea. For next week, I mean, depending on when the City double is announced, I don't mind going for a City defender next week. I don't think there are a lot of standout. Right, Aston Villa is also good next week if you want to go there. Solanke captain a good choice? I think he's a good differential. Is Haaland fit to play this week? No one knows. Nobody knows that. Please don't spam the chat. Thank you very much for the moderating, VJ. Do you think Senesi is a good replacement for Simicast? I think the boat for Senesi has pretty much sailed, I think. Yeah. Abel says, hi from Ethiopia. Pick one, Douglas Luiz or Dalot. Thank you for tuning in, Abel. Douglas Luiz or Dalot, I would start Douglas Luiz. I don't think Dalot keeps a clean sheet. Got one free transfer. Any suggestions on Tsimikas, Trent or Mitoma to Richarlison? Probably Trent. Good morning, George. Nice to see you. Did Senesi's price raise because of goals? I mean, he picked up an assist, right? I mean, he did give a cross to Solanke for that goal. His attacking output is actually much better than I initially expected. So, I am surprised, I have to say. Trippier and Bowen to Burn and Salah? Nah. If you don't have Salah now, I think you hope that he doesn't return, because eventually you're going to bring him out. It's pretty much the same as Son. Same with Salah as it is with Son, that if you don't have them now, and if you have to take a hit to bring them in, I think you just pray and hope that they don't return, or at least the players that you have in place of them are able to cover them, because sooner rather than later they're all going to leave your team. 21, they're going to leave your team. For Salah, even in 20 is possible. Patrick says, hi Leon, have Kabore, Palmer and Raul Jimenez on my bench and Lascelles on your bench as well. Okay. Would you play Kabore if Lascelles is out or roll? I have Trent, Gabriel, Power in the lineup. I think you will probably have to make a transfer. I'll be honest. I think you transfer Lascelles out. This is a good time to jump off Lascelles. Any news on Pedro Neto? He's back in training. Neto is back in training. He should be an option soon. Gordon and Saliba out for Richarlison and Luka Dean. I don't think Luka Dean is safe. He would probably be rotated quite heavily with Moreno. Or it could even be second fiddle to Moreno. Tsimikas to Zinchenko using one free transfer. Also have Colwell, Porro and Gabriel. I don't think I would do Tsimikas to Zinchenko. I would either go for a Villa defender or a City defender. The Footy Ace says, my team is Leno, Areola, Gabriel. Wow. Thinking Kabore to Trent and bench Archer. You could actually roll, if I'm honest. I think you can roll. I think if I had your team, I would roll. Unless you have massive FOMO on Trent, then fair enough. But I think you could actually roll. Lucas says, if we get team news that Livramento starts, would you start Livramento or Douglas Luiz? I would start Livramento. Thoughts on Nkunku? I think he's a great player. I'm very excited that he's back as a Chelsea fan. But I don't think he's an FPL option yet, unfortunately. Alvarez or Darwin? I would start both this week. If you're buying, I think you buy Alvarez. But I only buy Alvarez if I'm on a Gameweek 20 wildcard. Who is the best City defender for FPL? Kyle Walker. Has to be Kyle Walker. Haaland to Alvarez or roll the transfer and let Konza play in defense versus United? I would roll the transfer and let Konza play. Nkunku or Alvarez? And the thing with Alvarez is I'm not so sure that I would transfer Alvarez in, because soon Kevin De Bruyne will be back. So Alvarez is already not a long-term option, which is why I say that only if I'm on a wild card in Game Week 20, then I will go for Alvarez. Secondly, Haaland will also be back soon. So when Kevin De Bruyne is back, when Haaland is back, Alvarez is not a long-term transfer, and with the way that we need to shape our moves moving forward, things like removing Salah, removing Son, bring them back in after that. With all these transfers in mind, I don't think I will be comfortable bringing Alvarez in and then removing him after that. Like that's just extra transfers. So that's kind of why I wouldn't go for Alvarez. I have Cunha. Should I wait for Haaland, which is keep Cunha this week, or transfer another playing forward? I think you keep Cunha and play him this week against Brentford. I don't think there's a need to use a forward transfer. Well, it's different if you have two free transfers now. If you have two free transfers now and you're tempted to go for a punt, that's all right. Who is the best? Yeah, I've answered this. Tsimikas to Walker or Roll. One free transfer. Tsimikas to Walker. I'll do that. Is it worth going for a differential captain? Well, it's always worth to go for a differential if it works out in the end, right? If it works out in the end, it's always worth it. But I guess, as you can see from the captaincy poll, the standout captain is Mo Salah at 69%. So you would be going very, very different there. If you're alright to take that on, the 164%, maybe 164, 165% effective ownership, that's what I predict for Salah, then fair enough. Do you consider a City defender to replace Tsimikas? I don't mind it. I don't mind an Aston Villa defender as well. I don't mind a Chelsea defender as well. Alright. I think this is pretty much it. If you guys have any last questions, do drop it in the chat before we call it a day. Cash and Diaby to Zinchenko and Palmer for a -4, or Roll, start trips, Livramento, Bisakas. I don't think you need to take a -4. I think you do cash to either a City defender or a Villa defender or a Chelsea defender, whichever that you want, depending on whether you can afford Trent as well. But given that you have Haaland, I don't think you can afford Trent. Yeah, so probably cash to maybe a City defender in your case, and then after that, setting up your team. I think one transfer should be enough. I don't think I'll take a -4. Yeah, I don't think I'll take a -4 with your team. Should I have at least one City player in my team? I don't have any, and I'm fine with that. Why City defense over Arsenal in FPL now? Just curious as an FPL fan myself. So basically, my thoughts is that pretty much everyone has an Arsenal defender already. The ownership for Gabriel and Tsimikas is already very, very high. So I would assume that people are looking elsewhere. If you don't want to double up, then the City defender is where you go for. What about Isak? Should I transfer him out, Solanke or Alvarez? Hopefully we get some leaks. For now, we don't really have any conclusive news yet. So my guess is that Isak starts this week ahead of Wilson, so that Wilson can start against Liverpool. That's my guess. Bench one of Julian Alvarez, Douglas Luiz, and Anthony Gordon. Douglas Luiz. Nkunku or Wilson? Both are so risky though. If you're transferring one in, they're equally risky if you ask me. Maybe Nkunku for the fixtures, because Wilson's fixtures are pretty bad. Harry says, do I downgrade Haaland to Nkunku, or maybe Turner to Dubravka as I have Areola as well? Haaland to Nkunku is not a move I would do now, especially now that Haaland could be back soon. Turner to Dubravka. I mean, I'm fine. I'm fine with I wouldn't do Turner to Dubravka because Dubravka is pretty much, if unless you have two free transfers. If not, I wouldn't do it because Dubravka becomes a non-option after game week 20. The 3 fixtures or the 4 fixtures that Newcastle have are pretty bad after that, and you would just be playing Areola. So generally, it's a low upside move. I wouldn't like to make a keeper transfer. Tavernier to Richarlison or Pascal Gross. You know what? You know what? I think I play. I think I play Richarlison. Sorry. I think I play Richarlison. I think I play Tavernier. I think I play Tavernier. I don't think this is the week to bring Pascal Gross in. For Richarlison, there's a bit of doubt in my head because he was holding his back. There's some rumors going on about whether he'll be fit or not. So maybe you just play Tavernier against Fulham. I expect Bournemouth to score quite a couple of goals as well. Truka says, what's up, Consult? What do you think of getting Kunku in for Darwin? I didn't have Solanke for his haul, but no point bringing him in now. I think you play Darwin because I think Darwin starts against Burnley. So you give him this last game and then you go for it. Sorry for retyping. No problems at all. Casual Brighton fan. Thank you, VJ, for moderating the chat as well. Is Jesus a good differential? Is Jesus a good shout? Big differential for the next 5 games. I mean, if it were to me to choose the front line, I would probably go. I mean, the best front 3 right now. I would probably go Watkins, Solanke, and Haaland. I think that's the template moving forward. So unfortunately, I don't think Gabriel comes in there. And the way Arsenal are attacking right now, they're not really scoring super a lot of goals. So he could be a differential. Don't get me wrong, but it could work. It could work. Ari says, you missed my previous message before that. Any news on Haaland? Not at the moment. Is it worth bringing in Gomez? 2 free transfers right now. Have Haaland already. Also have to sell 0.3 in the bank. So not much money. I don't mind Gomez. If you have enough, if you don't have much money, I don't mind Gomez. Alright. So I think we're gonna end the stream pretty soon. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Let me just get to some of your last questions. Should I start Taylor versus Liverpool or take a -4 to get someone else in? I think you take a -4. I have Saliba, Gabriel, Porro. Should I transfer anyone out for Trent? No. I'll start those 3. Alright, so that's pretty much it. I'm gonna leave it at this. Thank you for tuning in for the Gameweek19 deadline stream on Boxing Day. It was quite a turnout today, so thank you very much for that. I will catch you guys in the Game Week 20 content. I'll probably do a wildcard draft, and I'll probably do the team selection as well, and then we'll have the deadline stream on Saturday itself, right? But after that, it's the new year. Celebrations are in order, so I hope you guys have a good one. And yeah, happy Boxing Day to you. Enjoy the football, and I hope you get green arrows. I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye-bye.